Hey, fine people, thanks for checking out my video. Appreciates it. If you likes what you sees, please hit the like and subscribe button. Welcome, journey, entering. Let's go.
I'll tell you about a young man. He grew up in Chicago. He was a fat kid. His dream was to play in the NFL. And he went to the Packers training camp with his pops when he was like in the 7th or 8th grade and had a picture taken with one of the Packers. And he just posted it on Instagram a couple weeks ago. And he didn't get any opportunities out of high school. So he lived at home, went to JUCO, and worked part-time at the steel factory where his father worked to make money. After JUCO, he got an opportunity to play in the Big Ten. He went to the Big Ten, played 2 years. Didn't really start because he was behind two really talented players, but he was drafted in the 5th round. And I had 14 players that year, 10 of which got drafted, and he wasn't at the top end as far as potential. And his first year, 4th game, he tears his ACL. Well, in the NFL, when you tear your ACL, they kick you to the curb. You have new coaches. They're called trainers, sports medicine department. You don't go to the meetings. You don't go to the games. You're not part of the team. You're on a 9 to 10 month recovery. Comes back his second year. And actually what he did was he came back his second year and was going to play in Indianapolis against Peyton Manning. And because he was from Chicago, he had like 35 family and friends coming down I-65 to Indianapolis to watch him play on a Thursday night, the first game of the NFL season. And I'm actually in Indianapolis to watch. I had guys on both teams.
And I'm saying, where do you live now, by the way?
I'm in Colorado Springs.
Colorado Springs, okay.
I was in Chicago for 10 years, then I've been out here for 18. But bottom line is, I get a call 4 hours before the game saying they're cutting him. Now, he's the away team. He's played for the Saints. He's in Indy for the game, and he gets cut 4 hours before his game. And he texted his sister, and his sister didn't tell his dad because he was driving 75 miles an hour down I-65, and she didn't want him running off the road. So they stopped at a rest stop, and and I found out about this years later. He had a Saints jersey on, and the daughter told the dad that, hey, my brother and your son just got cut. He ripped off his shirt at the rest stop restroom. So they had to stop at a gas station to buy him another shirt. So while he's flying from Indianapolis to New Orleans back, he's been cut. He's got 35 people at the game. Okay. And the next day he got claimed by another team. He goes to the other team. They go 1-15 that year. At the end of the season, players have exit meetings with their coaches. And I encourage my guys to ask great questions. And he asked the head coach, hey, what do you think of me? And the head coach was like, you don't look like an NFL player. You don't got a body type like an NFL player. Your talents are not consistent with the guy that's going to play in the NFL. You should probably go find another job. Well, I was regretting that I asked him to ask that question because that was not positive feedback. Well, a couple days later, this coach got fired because he went 1-15. They brought a new coach in. Fast forward, he ends up going back to the Saints at the end of that year. And coming into OTAs that offseason, head coach called him in and said, hey, he's a defensive end. We don't want you to play defensive end anymore. We want you to play long snapper. He's like, okay. He says, the only chance you got to make this team is if you're a long snapper. He never long snapped before. I mean, that's not a glamorous job. So he spent the whole offseason practicing to be the long snapper, but unbeknownst to me or to the team, he was also doing extra work preparing to play defense. Well, he comes back for the first day of training camp at the end of July, practicing his fanny off to be the best long snapper he could be. And the head coach calls him in and says, hey, we don't need you anymore. So that's year 3 of his career. That's been a really fun career so far.
Yeah.
And he's out playing golf with his buddies, getting tanked, saying goodbye. And I get a call from Bill Belichick saying, hey, is this kid ready? And I said, well, yeah. So I call my guy and I go, hey, man, you ready? He goes, I got to get on a plane tonight. I'm like, yeah. They put him on a red eye. He had to work out the next day. And generally when they bring these guys in, they sign like less than 5%. It's a 5% chance. They signed him. And after 3 games in the preseason, now he didn't have the offseason with the Patriots. He was way behind the curve.
Yeah.
And he had to go in and battle and show him that he was deserving of making it. And he ended up playing 9 years for the Patriots, won a couple Super Bowls, went to 3, made crazy money, captain for 5 years. He's on ESPN today. He's on ESPN today. He's on ESPN every Thursday and Friday. Makes, I don't know, probably 30 times the national average just working ESPN 2 days a week.
So are you going to tell us who this person is?
It's Rob Ninkovich, who was the defensive end for the Patriots. But the point is, he had a pro mindset. He believed in himself in the 7th grade. He believed in himself when Sean Payton told him he can't play. He believed in him when the Dolphins, Cam Cameron, the head coach, said, hey, you don't look like an NFL player. He believed. He was passionate when he probably should have been passionate about something else. Obviously, he had a big why. And he was a hard worker. And he always had a lifestyle consistent with his dream. And when it came time to make big plays, he performed.